evening. How many of y'all are like me? You hear that music and you start rocking and grooving. Good evening, everyone, because it is Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday. I am so excited to be here with all of you. Come on in, because it really is Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday, because we're going to be talking about all the amazing wins so many of the women in Wealthy You have experienced this year. And I really want to, I'm going to begin by talking about Wealthy You as a whole and what I see as all of our wins, just to give all of you some insight. So come on in the chat. Let me give some folks some shout outs. Feel free to, if you've had any win, listen, if you have had any win, it doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter how large. This is really all about celebrating what for so many of us has been a very difficult year, myself included. So, I was just sharing with someone today just how overwhelming this year has been for me. How about you? Has it been overwhelming? In the chat, let me know. I got to have a conversation with y'all in the chat. Let me know. Has 2021 been sort of an overwhelming year? And are some of y'all really ready to close the door on this year? If you are, let me know in the chat. Yes. Come on in. I want to give folks just a few minutes to come in. This is Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday, and we have had quite the year in Wealthy You, one of our most significant years of growth. And with that, what I believe is really gonna just catching momentum for us to go into 2022 accelerating. So this is Wealthy You, and this is where we teach you how to accelerate your financial growth. So let's see in the chat who's here. Okay. Karen Ellington says, yes, it was overwhelming, but nothing like 2020. Ain't that the truth? That is so true. Dr. Zerlene in the house. Dr. Z, that's right. Unfortunately, yes. Listen, here's what I want you to know is that we have to be looking forward and not behind, because that is not the way that we're going. We are going forward. But I do think, how many of you think it's important to reflect, right? Because a lot happened this year. And so it's just important that you reflect what were the lessons learned and how can you use that to fuel you into another year, another round around the sun, right? That is going to help you to make a significant impact in your life and grow, because it truly is all about growing. So good evening, everyone. I am Deborah Owens. I'm founder and CEO of Wealthy You, where we're on a mission to help 1 million Black women build investment portfolios to 7 figures and beyond. That's right. That's the goal. And guess what? It is happening. And those are some of the wins I want to share with all of you this evening. Is just some of the significant progress that we've seen in spite of it. And that's what's really, I guess, inspiring to me about all of it, is that in the midst of what has been one of the most challenging and significant times in my lifetime anyway. How many of you this past 2 years, if you were to think about what you thought were some significant challenging years in the past, how many of you in the chat, let me know, would agree? Or in the comments if you're watching me on another platform. would agree that we're going to look back at 2020 and 2021 as one of the most challenging and significant times in our lifetime. That's right. Agree. Virginia says agree. Give me some feedback because I want to have a conversation. Welcome, Karen. Whoop, whoop. Karen just upgraded into the Legacy Wealth Accelerator. We have a few other people that are upgrading, but I really want to begin by giving everybody a sense. So yes, I'm Deborah Owens. I'm founder and CEO of WealthyU, and in the WealthyU community, we are focused on teaching women how to invest, teaching them how to leverage whatever their investment opportunities are so that they can accelerate their financial growth and pay it forward and create generational wealth. And so what I got really clear on over the past 2 years in just growing the WealthyU Society, which we launched last year, is just the importance of sisterhood and community. And just how critical it is that we connect with one another, and it's hard, right? It's hard now to connect with your family, with friends, because we're so fearful of something, maybe impacting us health-wise, or impacting someone else if you were to have people in your home. I was just talking with another friend today, just about the reluctance to have, my husband and I, we love to entertain, and it just seems so surreal. How many of you feel like that? Like you love to entertain, and you know that every time you think it's the holiday or it was Thanksgiving or whatever, you're like, I don't know. I don't want to be responsible, right? So even though these have been challenging times, what I will say is that what I learned is the importance of community, and in the WealthyU community, that's why I believe we've had so much growth. So before I get started, though, it is WealthyU Wind Down, and I don't want to begin WealthyU Wind Down. Grab your favorite glass of vino. Lord knows we could all, want to celebrate or kind of look at this past year and give it a good farewell, or these past couple of years. But I want to give a toast to all of you I'm toasting for a number of reasons. WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday, for the significant growth, for the growth of the women in the WealthyU community who have been progressing in spite of it. And I often say that the wealthy mindset is viewing problems as opportunities. So I want to give a toast to all of you who've been moving forward in spite of these challenging times. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, what I really want to begin with is by doing a WealthyU 2020 recap. Now, as I shared with all of you, our WealthyU community, if you're not in our Facebook community, then you want to join our Facebook community. Just it's bit.ly WealthyU Community, or go on Facebook, Google WealthyU Community, and we will welcome you in. So that community is over 7,000 strong. We have doubled our WealthyU Community membership in our WealthyU Community, our Facebook group, in the past year. So that's number one. Number two, we launched the WealthyU Society, which is our group membership program, and we had our largest membership increase over the past 12 months. So let's celebrate all of you who joined, who invested in yourself, and that's why in the chat I want you to all, if you've got any wins, I want you to share your wins. Did you pay off a credit card? Did you increase your 401k? Did you start your first investment account? Did you come to the stash party, open a stash account, and invest in your first stock? Whatever your win is simply progress, right? And so what I'm most excited about, though, is the growth of the WealthyU Society. Now, here's something else. In the WealthyU Society, not only did we grow, but we implemented a number of new kind of benefits in WealthyU this year. Many of you, if you don't have a WealthyU ambassador, then you're in the WealthyU Society, you now have a member success advisor. And that member success advisor is there to make sure that you get to all of your skill building sessions, which, by the way, we introduced for the WealthyU Society. So weekly, how many of you who are in the WealthyU Society have attended the analyzing and researching mutual funds skill building sessions where you're learning how to evaluate your investments? There is nothing that I love more than folks saying, well, you know, I was only earning 5% and my investment went up 20% and I really increased my returns. Well, all of that is because you are building your muscle. In the chat, let me know. Have you come to the analyze and researching mutual funds, evaluated your mutual funds, and increased the rate of return that you're earning? So not only did we add that analyzing and researching mutual fund skill building session every month, but in addition to that, every month you also have an analyzing and researching stock skill building session. And that's taught by one of our facilitators, Concetta, and you're learning how to analyze and research your investments, building your portfolios, because that's what it's about, ladies. It's about building your portfolio to 7 figures and beyond. And we have women building their first 6. Shout out to Tamika Smith, who one of our WealthyU Legacy Wealth Accelerators, who went from $40,000 in debt. If you didn't come into our masterclass, you missed the treat. She talked about how she had a negative net worth, $40,000 in student loans. And within 2 years, she paid off all of those debts, and she now has 6 figures in her 401k. So you get to 6 figures, then you're on your way to 7, ladies. No doubt about it. So we also implemented the Stash app. So many of you wanted to learn how do you invest? How do you invest? Do you need a lot of money? Well, we introduced the financial apps class. Our facilitator, Michelle Smith, not only does she teach that skill building session, but she also teaches the analyzing and researching mutual funds. How many of you are going to those Stash app parties now, getting your wealth on, getting your stock on? Yeah, that's right. That's what it's about in WealthyU. So it's not just about knowledge. Not that knowledge isn't important, because knowledge about how to build wealth is your most valuable assets. Ladies, you hear me? Your most valuable asset, right? But I often tell you that knowledge is not power in itself, right? Knowledge correctly applied is. And that is, to me, the most significant impact that this community, that the WealthyU Society has had on all of the women, is because it is about implementation. Agree or disagree with me? Agree or disagree? That's right, ladies. So it's you. How many of you were out there wandering? Bought every book on the planet about personal finance. Can I get a witness? You bought Susie Orman's Fabulous and Broke. You know, you might have even bought my book, A Purse of Your Own. You bought Linda Bridgeforth's Girl, Get Your Money Straight. In the chat, let me know if you got all those books on your bookshelf. And you know where they ended up? On your bedside table. Then you ended up giving it to the Goodwill Salvation Army, and that was the end of that. No application. So implementation is why we added those skill building sessions. You know, it's so interesting. Oh, and the other thing that we introduced this year that has been so powerful and so important in keeping people on track is we introduced the Wealthy You Milestones. You know, first you figure out what your wealth gap is. Then the next thing, once you figure out, okay, then you got to figure out, okay, what's my next step? Closing that gap, of course. Where do we start? We start right where you are. And so right where you are means you're going to go analyze and research what you have, and then you're going to optimize that. So then it's analyze, optimize, maximize. How many of you are investing more in your 401k or your 403 or your employer sponsored plan, your TSP, than you ever had thought imagined? How many of you are doing more of that, are investing more? And if you increase the amount that you're contributing to your retirement plans, let me get a witness. Tell me, are you at 10%, 15%, 20%? How much did you increase because of the impact that all of the women, you're seeing other women, you're hearing their stories? Man, so we introduced the 5 milestones to keep you on track, because one of the things we identified, not me, because we have an awesome team. Deprina, social media manager, Stephanie Lee, executive administrative operations, you name it, she does it. Tawana Tyler, our customer service, client success, you know, awesome team. And then all of the ambassadors, Anita Jenkins, Virginia Rutherford Hall, Michelle Smith, Kathy Robertson, and we have a new member that we're going to be announcing soon, and that's what it's all about. I tell you, when you start in this program, you know, one day you're going to be telling your story about how you came your situation, and then you're going to pay it forward, and you're going to pour into other women, because that's what it's about. And Wealthy You, goodness, I didn't even know I had so much to share, but I got a lot to share, because we executed and we implemented a lot. So what did I say? So and then after all of that, if all of that wasn't enough, because of the growth of the members in Wealthy You, who were moving beyond multiple six figures, it was time to introduce next level. Put next level in the chat, because all of you eventually are going to go next level, because that's how we measure our effectiveness in Wealthy You. It's the results that you have, right? This is not about me. This is about you having results. And so because you needed to go to the next level, that is the world that I come out of, high net worth investment services. And that's where you get access to insight on tax advantaged investment strategies, real estate. So we introduced the Legacy Wealth Accelerator, and it is on and popping. We went through our first high net worth strategy, and you guys were like amazed at it. And many of the women who are in the Legacy Wealth Accelerator, what did they do? They upgraded, because you know what? You get to the level where you're making money, you got to figure out how to keep that money. And that's what the Legacy Wealth Accelerator is about, is the ability to show you high net worth strategies that will allow you to keep more money in your pocket so that you can create intergenerational wealth. Are you with me? And so many of the women in Wealthy You have went to the next level. They're in the Legacy Wealth Accelerator We will go through 4 sprints a year. We went through our high net worth tax strategies, and guess what? Real estate's up not next, and it is going to be fire because we have an amazing instructor who has her own significant investment portfolio. And just like you learn how to analyze and research mutual funds, analyze and research stocks, you're going to learn how to analyze and research and evaluate real estate, because it's not just buying, right? You have to make sure that you have the ability, based on what your objective is, to evaluate if an investment in real estate is a good one. And so again, you guys know I believe in numbers, right? Numbers don't lie, but people do. Right? And so how many times have people told you about, like right now I'm seeing it with crypto. Oh, you better invest in crypto. You better invest in this. You're going to be a gazillionaire. Now, all I'm going to say is I do it the Warren Buffett way. If you can't explain it to me like a kindergarten, then we need to have more information. So we need to get information so we can get information. And by the way, I'm not hating on crypto, but you need knowledge, and that's why, didn't even talk to you guys about this, but we had, how many of you came to our master classes this year? And it was just some amazing women speakers. In the chat, let me know who was your favorite. I mean, I can go down the list. I mean, Stella Adowu, who else? Amy Griffin, our estate planning attorney. Was she amazing? Kimberly Nixon schooled us on real estate. And by the way, that is the woman that is going to be teaching our real estate class. I'm like a kid in a candy shop, because real estate, just that's not my area of expertise. I have been through one of her classes, and training, because ladies, we are doing a 12-week sprint. Not that we're going to meet for 12 weeks, but this sister is bad. It's none of that you going to sit back and observe. No. You're going to apply what you learn. And by the way, for those of you who are in the Legacy Wealth Accelerator, look for your 12-week push journals, because she is all about focus and acceleration. And so I'm so excited about that, right? So, man, team, I know you probably saying, yeah, she talking about all that we executed on. We tired. Well, don't be tired, because we're just getting started. Next year is gonna be bananas. Can y'all say bananas? Because we have some stuff that is about to launch that is going to be absolutely amazing. Amazing, because it's all about the women in Wealthy You and their success. And we got to tell the world about what's happening in Wealthy You. Okay? All right. So let me make sure I didn't miss anything. So we launched another program that's kind of on the hush hush, but it's the WealthyU Academy. If you're just getting started and you're not quite sure about WealthyU, you want to get your feet wet, WealthyU Academy. You want to learn about that program, you got to talk to one of your WealthyU ambassadors to learn about it. That's how hush hush it is. Okay. So did I cover everything? Yes. But you know what? Hey, here's all I want to tell you is we're not finished yet. I know I'm doing a recap. But if you have not registered for our WealthyU 2022 Vision Party, you're going to miss out. Because on December the 29th, you can get access to the exact knowledge and skill building exercise that everyone who go in WealthyU does. And it's our WealthyU Vision program, and where we're going to be identifying, we're going to go through like a strategic process And then we are going to make the vision plain. How many of you have your vision boards? If you're in Wealthy You, I have mine. I have a couple of them. I'm not in my office right now, but not only are we going to go through that exercise, if you have not registered for the Wealthy You 2020 vision planning on December 29th, 8 o'clock p.m., you want to register. If one of the team could put that in the chat and put the link in there so they know how to register. That's right, Deprina is on the spot. So boom, boom, boom. And if that's not enough, you're like, is she crazy? No, we're hitting the ground running in 2022. We will start out the year with our Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. That's right. That's where you heard Dr. Sharon Deans, how she found thousands of dollars in her existing budget. Many of you are paying too much for stuff. You're paying too much for insurance. You're paying everybody. You're building everybody else's empire except your own. And we're going to start the year off with that Savvy Money Makeover. We're going to have to show you how to double the amount you invest. And we're also going to show you how you build a 7-figure investment portfolio. We have fun for 7 days. Actually ends up being 8 or 9 days. And after that, we're just all exhausted and everybody says, oh, we're never doing that again. And guess what? Typically, we come right back and we do it again. Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. So, this is the other thing that I want to share with all of you is next year, we've already planned out the year and we've got some just amazing things planned for you, really designed, because we know, here's what I know, and I'm going to talk about this in our 2022 planning session. I really want to give you a sense of the things that you need to understand and be prepared for. In Wealthy You, we don't just look at where we're at. We want to look around the corner. And when we look around the corner, the other thing we want to be able to do is understand how can we take advantage of it, right? Like in Wealthy You, we have a wealthy mindset. We believe that problems are opportunities, and we're already seeing it. We're seeing inflation rising. How many of you went in the store and bought to buy some chicken wings and you saw it was 5 times as much? In the chat, let me know. Let me know if you've been going in these stores. Man, I've been looking at furniture, and just like I went to buy something the other day and it was on sale. I went back, they took it off sale. It was twice as much as it was, and I was kicking myself. But you know what? I just let the Google machine find it at some other store so I could buy it at a good price. But the point is that what you're seeing are inflationary pressures. What does that mean? That means our federal government has monetary policy. It could mean that interest rates are going to start going up. Why do they do that? To kind of tamp down inflation. What does that mean for all of you? That means, listen, that means that anything that's impacted by lower interest rates, which we have had for years, then you need to be thinking about what you can do. If you were considering financing anything, you need to do it at these existing lower rates. If you were sitting on the fence thinking about, oh, I think I should refinance, guess what? You better do it before interest rates start going up. If you were planning any major projects, that's one of the things, just around if you're renovating your homes, all of those supplies have gone up. It's interesting. We had put a screened-in porch on our home. We got a bid for it, right? Well, by the time the person finally, because we had some other work done, they just skedaddled, left us in the lurch. And then when we got another estimate, it was twice as much as the original price, right? So here's what I want you to know. Like a lot of you people are getting ready to get ready. Okay, well, you better already be ready. You've got to pull the trigger. You got to get this stuff out of your head and you got to take action. Because here's the most significant thing that I learned this year. You know, I lost my mother, who was 91 years old this year. And you know, like, she had dementia. And how many of you are caregivers, or you've had you know, your parents or someone close to you go through that, right? And my mother had dementia, declining for about 5 or 6 years. And man, I didn't mean to get teary, but what I want you to know is this, is that what I learned from all of this, from COVID, and from so many people around me who are not here today, right, is that, listen, if you're going to do anything, you better do it. Are you with me? Like, all of this thinking you're going to wait and you're going to see and you're going to wait for the perfect time. There is no perfect time, right? Faith is moving forward without seeing the evidence. And if something was put in your heart, in your imagination, if you have a desire, then you deserve it. But here's the biggest thing I learned this year, is that in order to really realize your dreams, it is going to cost. And that cost is going to be significant. And you know why that's important. And this is what I'm just talking from my own experience. All right? I'm just talking from my own experience. The reason why the cost is more significant is because that's the only way you are going to take it serious and lean in. Who's with me? Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Like, you know, here's what I see. I've talked to hundreds of you this year. Hundreds of you about enrolling in WealthyU, or, you know, you wanting to go to the next level. And so many of you are just waiting, or you're trying to test, or you're looking for the perfect thing. You are so worried about losing. Somebody needs to hear this, okay? You are so worried about losing that you are not focused on what you can gain. Here's what I want you to know. You never lose. You either win or you learn. And so what I learned this year, and what COVID has taught me in these couple of years, is that if you want to accomplish anything of significance, it is going to take time. It is going to take money, right? And if it's really, really significant, it should scare the heck out of you. Because otherwise, you're not going to grow. Are you with me? Like, so many of you thinking, oh, I'm just going to get incremental improvement. I'm going to try a little of this. I'm going to try a little of that. No. Go big or go home. Now, I'm not saying the whole point of WealthyU is to help you to evaluate all opportunities, right? But there's a time for evaluation and there's a time for execution. You guys understand that? There's a time for evaluation and there's a time for execution. And so that's why the framework for WealthyU is mindset, strategy, and execution, right? First, you got to believe that you can. And so many of you are in your own head and you're telling yourself why you can't do this, why you can't do this, why as soon as I do it, it's going to go wrong. As soon as I make an investment, it's going to go down. That's what happened in the past. So if you believe it to be true, it is. You know what I mean? Like, you have already lost out of the gate. Okay? And so that's why we spend a lot of time on mindset. Mindset. What's mindset? That's shifting from an income to a wealth mindset, shifting from an earner to an owner mindset. And what that requires is almost deprogramming everything that you have learned, because all of us have been trained, myself included, in the middle class mindset, right? The middle class mindset. We were taught, go to school, get a good education, get a good job, maybe you get a pension, and guess what? It worked for our parents, but it definitely did not work for us. And so what Wealthy You is about teaching you how to make the shift from income to wealth, how to turn your income into wealth. It is not about earning more income. It's about taking your income and turning it into assets that now are going to work so you no longer have to. All right, so I know I went a little long, but I had a lot to say. But now what I want to go over is just some of the amazing wins that we've seen in the Wealthy You Society, and I got to give some shout outs. And so here's a win that we picked up from Tamika Smith. If you haven't attended one of our master classes, Tamika is just a fabulous young woman. And she said, after joining the WealthyU Community, I was able to grow my passion for investing and fuse my love for journalism with a new side hustle. I'm now the new podcast host for a financial startup called Finimize. What's really, really interesting about Tamika is she said something that kind of took my breath away, because it was like it exceeded my expectations of what I wanted, the impact that I wanted Wealthy You to make, right? I probably need to give you guys some context, but she said, now that I know how the financial markets work and how to invest, I walk in rooms differently. That took my breath away. And do you know what she meant by that? Anyone know what she meant by she walks in rooms differently? Because she doesn't have to fear, going into a meeting and people talking about financial statements or the stock market. And she can now have an intelligent conversation and probably add a little wisdom and empower. That's right, Virginia. Confidence, Carla. That's right, Marlene. Yes, that's Glenn. You walk in a room differently. And that's really what it's about. It's like I felt. So, for those of you who don't know the backstory, I kind of stumbled into a career in investments, spent a great deal of my career with Fidelity Investments, got exposed to so many things, managed the West Coast. I had a fast trajectory, and I got exposed to a world that I knew nothing about. But, my response to that was not that I wanted to see how I could, grow riches for myself. I knew if I didn't know, nobody else knew it either, and I wanted to tell the world. And so that really is why, Wealthy You exists today. And so when I created Wealthy You, it really was to give access to that information that none of us ever received, because the only way we would get it is if we had a family member who had that knowledge, or our family had a trusted financial advisor. And I mean, for many of us, our trusted financial advisor was the insurance, the debit man, because that's the only one that came to our house. We didn't know anything about investments. So the point I'm trying to make is that knowledge of how to invest is inherited, right? Like the most valuable information, the most valuable asset, the knowledge of how to build wealth is inherited. Right? And so getting back to Tamika, I'm sorry, I know I went off on another tangent. What I didn't realize was the psychological significance of having access to this knowledge, being able to evaluate investments, invest in the stock market, would actually allow you to walk into rooms differently, right? You can raise your hand when somebody wants you to join the committee, the finance committee. You're like, yeah, I can add value to that because I know how to read a financial statement. That is the power of this knowledge. Agree or disagree with me? All right. I know I get a little passionate about things, but I want you to know how grateful I am for all of you and all of the women on this team who they get up and they're fighting for you every day. They are fighting for you every day. So let me go to some more wins. So let's see. Oh, Maddie Hayes, I hope she's here today. She said, I paid off my American Express card. Woo, hallelujah. Yeah, that's a win, right? You are no longer paying interest to the man. Karen Ellington, my investment accounts did well from August to September. There was a time when I wasn't even checking for progress. Thankful for the knowledge that this group provides. And hey, I want to give you a round of applause, another upgrade going into the Legacy Wealth Accelerator. Nita Diane says, I increased my 401k from 16 to 18%. Now I have 25.5% of salary invested through my job. Woo, you about to scare some people. Go ahead with your bad self. Anita Jenkins, one of our WealthyU ambassadors. I had a great meeting with a tax strategist going into the fourth quarter of 2021. Whoop, whoop, right? How many of y'all even got a tax strategist, right? But we learned a lot about that at our master classes this year. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Brigitte Raquette, I was able to lower the interest rates on my mortgage. That's right. Because see, refinancing puts more money in your pocket. Again, some of you are just so focused on paying something off or this sort of thing. No, you have to evaluate, make moves, and think about what are the opportunities that are right in front of you. Many of you are standing 10 feet away from gold. I'm sorry, I hope I'm reading this right. Okay. So, Kimberly Everington, I paid off $40,000 in credit card debt. What? I've increased my retirement from 6% to 13%. Can we get some finger snaps? Whew. I started a stash and a Robinhood account with 4 investments. I've started the process to purchase a home, and I'm teaching my youngest son. Wow, here's the other thing that I want, that I realize. The reason why we focused on you building wealth and learning how to build wealth is because of the impact that it has around. Remember, the knowledge of how to build wealth is inherited. And so now you're paying it forward to others. Love it, love it, love it. Simone Atkins Satchel says, I was contributing only 16% to my 401k. I am happy to say that I am now contributing 15% and I've paid off my credit cards. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Gay Littlejohn, prepared my will, increased my 401k. Sharon Deans now has a new business venture. I mean, she's just having an amazing experience. Anita Jenkins became a notary as another side hustle. We're all about the side hustle. Not only do you want to diversify your portfolio, you want to diversify your income stream. Phyllis Thomas, reduced my cable bill. That's right. Hey, did you guys know? One of the things that I had done for my mother was, as a senior, depending upon where you live, you can get reduced rates. So you want to take advantage of that. Sophonia, one of our Legacy Wealth Accelerator members, this is my year of returns based on my evaluations, nickel and dimes, and investing approach. Let's keep going. Who is with me? Joanne Brooks. Yes, I opened up my investment accounts today. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Here, Zerlene, she gave her testimony on Wealthy You Wind Down. Dr. Z, just about all of the progress that she's making. She also upgraded to the Legacy Wealth Accelerator. All I want you to know is that that's what this is about. This is about results. In Wealthy You, the women who go the further and the fastest are winners. Just that. They want it. They have a desire, right, to achieve the level of financial success that they deserve. And so they make an investment in their financial future and they lean in, right? They lean in. They come to the skill building sessions. They come to strategic advisory where after you've been through those skill building sessions, we're looking at your specific portfolio and we're strategizing about what you need to do to accelerate your financial growth. It's all about analyze, optimize, maximize, right? The truth is that every one of you has investment opportunity levers that when you learn how to pull them, your growth will accelerate. Can I get an amen and a witness? How many of you in Wealthy You have pulled some of those levers and you are seeing the fruits of your labors, right? What I didn't mention, I had a conversation with someone who hit their first 7 figures last year, really in November of last year. Do you know a week ago, they are now at $1.5 million in just a year. So how did that happen? That happens because when you get to that first 6 figures, getting to 7 figures is a lot easier when you're compounding on 100,000, right? Then you get to 500,000, then you're compounding. Then you get to $1 million and you're compounding. Ladies, it will work if you work it. I had to just stop for a minute. Because imagine how your dreams can come true. When I said, I got to tell y'all this. Because, here's what I want you to know is you're not going to be met with opposition. When I started Wealthy You and I decided I was going to focus on Black women and I went out pitching for investors and I'd come off that stage and they say, oh, you just made such a great presentation. You were the best. Did any money come trickling my way? No, it didn't. I had to do a crowdfunding campaign where I raised $30,000. By the way, win. I would be remiss if I did not give a huge shout out to my daughter, Olivia Owens, creator of I Fund Women of Color, just promoted to Vice President of Client Success of I Fund Women, who just made the Forbes 30 under 30 for social impact. So whoop, whoop, whoop. God knows how much you can take and he will bless you. Man, is that amazing? Is that amazing? And here's the funny thing about Olivia. I used to drag Olivia to all of my book signings, touring with Bishop Jakes. And she had nothing to do with no finance or money. And now look at what she just won Forbes under 34 for helping women of color get access to capital. In 1 year, she looked at the data and saw that there 71% of the women were women of color in iFund Women raising money, but they were only raising 31%. In 1 year, she increased that to 51%. Whoop, whoop. Let's give Olivia a hand. If that ain't a win, I don't know what is. So here's what I wanted, to say to all of you this evening is, when I went on that stage and I came off, and I had an elderly gentleman say to me, "Oh, that is a laudable a goal that you're trying to achieve to help 1 million black women get to $1 million in net worth, but that's like rolling a boulder up a hill." Let me tell you, when my husband was curious, what did he say to you? And so when I told him, I said to him, I said, you know what, that has made me I needed to hear that, because that has made me even more determined to move this ball forward, right? So that was more than 4 years ago, right? A year after I started, 5 years ago, a year after I started Wealthy You. And now to see you all hitting 6, multiple 6, 7, beyond 7. Some of you are on your double 7s. Some of you are going to run for 8 million. For 10 million. It can be done. But here's what I want you to know is you can't do it by yourself. I have conversations every week. Like, I had a lot of conversations. How many of you went to our sneak peek and then made an appointment to have a conversation with me, right? And then I had conversations with some of you. And I think that so much of our inability to achieve the level of success that we desire and we deserve is we're trying to do it by ourselves. Listen, it's impossible, right? Like, what I had to learn myself was that when I wanted to build a company, achieve an objective, build a team, make investments, all of that, I needed to go find someone who had done just that, right? And I had to invest in getting that knowledge, right? And so some of you know what you need to do, but you're thinking you can do it all by yourself, right? Here's the most important thing I want you to understand is that the most valuable asset that you have when it comes to building wealth that you need is time, right? And the more time you let get away, the less success you will have. And so the time, ladies, to get started is now. If you want me touting your wealth, your wins, then you need to get in on what we're up to. And so if you want to learn more about the Wealthy You Society, I know if you haven't joined the Wealthy You Society, then you need to connect with one of your ambassadors. Your ambassadors are here to answer any questions. And the other thing I want to say is, the other important thing about Wealthy You is really the community and sisterhood. We're a community of like-minded women. We're, some people, I know you watch, binge on Netflix. I watch Netflix with the best of them. But I spend an awful lot of my time invested in going out, seeking information, and bringing it back to add value to this community. I go out, I get experts, executives. How many of you enjoyed Stella, who shared how you get to 500K in compensation? Did she blew some mind? I saw the smoke coming out of your heads with the kind of information that Stella was dropping. Wanda Watson, you name it, right? So I'm going out and finding it, and I'm bringing it back here so that you have access to it. And then we're sharing it and we're executing on it. And it's making everybody's life better. right? So if you want to get in on what we're up to, I want to invite you to come on and join. Come on in the WealthyU community. Learn about, in fact, you know what? Put the link in to apply. Apply to one of our programs. That's exactly what you have to apply to the program. Once you apply, we'll get back to you, have a conversation about what's a good fit, give you a sense of what. Some of you need in the WealthyU Society already need to up level. And I want you to apply as well. If you're already in the WealthyU Society, we're about to go into a 12-week sprint on real estate investments. Then we'll go right into our next sprint. We've got Wanda Watson coming back doing high net worth training. You need to apply to the Legacy Wealth Accelerator. You need to get in on what we're up to. We're going to have our most exciting year. I already know it. We're about to launch something that I can't even, I can't tell you yet until it launches, but when it does launch, you're gonna be the first to know in the society, because we're dead serious about helping 1 million women get to $1 million in net worth. So let me just make sure I go through this chat and make sure I don't leave any wins behind. We are leaving no coins behind in the WealthyU Society. That's right. Yeah, my heart goes out to you. You're a caregiver for your dad. Karen says that we take care of our dad. That's right. So listen, ladies, I can't wait for what is about to happen in 2022. If you're on another platform, if you want to join the WealthyU community, we'll make sure that we put those links on so that you can learn. Again, apply to our WealthyU 2020 vision planning session. We're going to show you how to make a digital vision board so that you can have it on your cell phone, have it as your screen saver. We're going to write the vision and make it plain. All right, that's going to do it for me this evening. I can't wait for 2022. I hope you enjoyed our recap. Hope you enjoyed learning about all of our wins. But again, come on in to and have fun on 12/29 at 8:00 p.m. for our WealthyU Vision 2020 planning. That's going to do it for me, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me on WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday. I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, founder and CEO of WealthyU, where we teach Black women how to build their first investment portfolios to 7 figures and beyond.